What's up? Yeah. Anybody out there yet? Just curious. Okay, cool. Good God's Israel. Ryan84, George. Arizona, good morning, guys. Good morning. Awaken. Um, yeah. Annette, what's up? Jermail, Awaken World. Margie Chisholm. Shannon, Mixed. Terry Garrett. Carolyn. Michigan, that's right. Tommy, Jenny, Anna, Cinnamon. I could keep on reading. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and jump into this. We do have some solar flare stuff I want to go over. But I did a stream last night, and after the stream, I broadcasted Mark Pyre's channel on my channel, live. He had a storm come through and knocked his power out. My stream was still like really long, but it was all jacked up a little bit. So I ended up just going ahead and pulling that one down. I thank everybody that came over and helped Mark out over on his channel. I was having a little bit of fun with it. Hey, Susan. Planetary. What's going on, guys? Jim Morrison. Edgar. YouTubular. Hey. Hang loose. Dude. Anyway. Wolf TV. Zachary. What's up? So anyway, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and jump into this. Arizona, can you please watch the chat? And if anybody else comes in, just, yeah, I do appreciate your guys' help there. I'm glad you're here, everybody. So I am going to go ahead and start because we do got quite a bit to go over. So, I don't want to leave. That stream was like three and a half hours long, which is extremely long anyway. But the last hour and a half of it was Mark on his channel, and so yeah, yeah, it's good to have you here. I'm glad everybody. I do try to hit around the clock sometimes, that way everybody has a chance to get in here and talk. But here, I see somebody asked me a question. Keep doing the good. Thank you, Douglas. Appreciate that. Wendy, morning. All right, I am going to put it away now. I like talking to you guys. I feel like I'm being rude if I don't, but if I don't do it, I'll never get it done. So we will go ahead and jump right into this. So here's a Schumann, guys. Just a really quick update on this one. That's a spike that happened back on the 15th. Obviously, we got a little bit of increased frequency there, but not really much of anything else to talk about there. This one here, yes, that would definitely cause problems. And I've always, already talked about this the other day anyway. But ringing in your ears, all those kinds of symptoms, that could be caused by that. Even heart palpitations, guys. So, lots and lots of studies on that. Okay, so this is space weather. It's probably why most of you guys are here. Yeah, the solar wind is picking up right now. I'm really not sure why. I knew it was supposed to come back to closer to normal. But yeah, it is. And it's nothing like extreme. But we are seeing an uptick because look at the geomagnetic activity. Okay? Just within the past, that would be 6 hours right there. These bars are 3-hour increments. So with that, coming up, yes, we know solar wind's increasing. But this is the main story right here, okay? You got solar flares. You see my thumbnail. That's actually that solar flare. One of them. You can see here, usually where there's one, there's more than one. It might not be big. It could be like really small like this one. But you can kind of see what happened here. And it's all coming from the same sunspot that's now exiting off the sun. It did a little one, into the B range, barely, okay? Didn't have to go far, though. See, the range there, didn't have to go far to get into a B. But then we get these C-class flares. It's like it was ramping up. Again, I kind of explained this the other day to the tune of, it's kind of like foreshock, earthquake, aftershock. It's kind of like that, but not exactly, because you can clearly see a slow uptick to the big one and then back down with a couple other small ones popping off. A lot of people think when this happens that it destabilizes the area there. But it's almost opposite of that, because once that connection has been crossed over, it's got to move again. Now it can disrupt the areas around it, but as far as that exact spot, usually you don't get two of them like bam, 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 bam. But this is coming from the same area, not exactly the same spot. So that's what I'll say to that. Okay, so here's the sun. Obviously, that's a coronal hole. We'll talk about that a little bit more. The Earth kind of sits here, guys. So we are probably most definitely connected to that by now. We probably did, hours back. But, oh, wow. Okay. You see this over here? That means that this Enlil model is showing you guys some of those solar flares. And we'll go to that in a minute. But you got this, remember in my previous video I showed you guys it was right here. The BZ was like right in the middle. Okay, it wasn't negative or positive one or the other, but it is in negative a little bit here. Kind of went back here, and then it's still a little loop-de-loop stuff right now. So the door is opening and closing to the energy leaving the sun, pretty much. So you got the fly angle here. It did look like it did do its pole flip here. After we get the line of sight missing data, which is what this is, we go back and then it kind of stables out. See? Now this is a little interesting. It's a steady uptick in density. And then subsequently with the solar wind, it's staying pretty steady. Right around 300, which is what we just seen over, on Space Weather Prediction Center up here at the top of this model. See it? Right there. So those two are agreeing with each other. Now this one, this says 400, this says 600. It's saying we should be experiencing winds right now like 500 kilometers per second. And I don't think we are. But, we'll keep moving. Anyway, you can see how these graphs kind of picked up those solar flares. That's probably why you got this uptick here. But what's even a little bit more telling is because that's the conditions at Earth. The solar flare was, looking down on our solar system, our inner solar system right here. The flares were popping off right here. But we still got the X-rays from it, because when X-rays, erupt, they just go out in all directions. The CMEs that follow, they're more pinpointed and follow more of a line. Okay? And that's why you're seeing the sections of higher solar wind and lower really, really close to each other. Okay? Over here is the side view. Not much more different than what you're going to see here. It's just telling you in a different visual. So it will say, this here can't tell you if it's going to go above or below the Earth. This one can. So that's the advantage of you looking at both of them. But, okay. Now we got these, the magnometer is kind of, see this right in here? Looks like the magnetics got a little jacked up right there, and we've seen it on the magnetopause models, okay? The electron fluxes, it's fluxing a little bit, not much. I don't know why it's looking like this. The last time I seen that graph, it was actually more of like this, so I'm not really quite sure what's changed on that model. It looks as though they might be making it like a straight line and showing you just above and below. I don't know. But it doesn't look normal to me. It's not what I'm used to seeing anyway. So, yeah. SpaceWeather.com. We'll talk about this for a second, because they did tell you the strength of these. Alright? It says it unleashed a pair of C-class flares. The strongest was a 3.5. It says it said it propelled a cloud of plasma into space. Okay, so that's actually, you got the flare, and then you got pretty much a CME right behind it. And that's what we've been talking about anyway. It won't hit the Earth, and that's pretty much what I said earlier tonight. I couldn't say 100% until more data come in. But it tells you what happens here. UV radiation from the flares briefly ionize the top of Earth's atmosphere, causing minor shortwave radio brownouts over South America. So that's a direct effect of that flare. Those were actual reports. Okay? That was real life reports. Hey, we had some radio brownouts. Okay? That's why shortwave radio operators, ham radio operators, don't like X-ray. They do actually like the opposite. They want the geomagnetic activity. They don't want extreme amounts, but it makes their job easier. They use it for first responders. That's the communications that most of them use. While we're here, I want to talk about this for a second. This whole block of near-Earth objects, the asteroids, meteorites, whatever you want to call them, about half of these were just put on there yesterday. Now, why I'm even talking about that is because the proximity they actually come. All right, that's a 0.4. That's not even halfway the distance to the moon. A 0.6, another 0.4. When I looked at this yesterday, and I showed people on my video that I think I pulled it down. That's the one I had the live stream thing that I had to pull it back down because of all that stuff I said already. But you got the 1.3 and the 1.6 was there. The rest of these were not. Okay, so that was all. They seen all this stuff within the past couple days. So, the 17th, which is today, we got one that's going to pass 0.4, which is not even halfway to the sun. Now, it's extremely small, 6 meters. Not very big, but it is moving fast. That reading right there is the second fastest on this whole graph right now. The only one bigger is down here. Well, there's two. Is it two? No, just one. 25.1 kilometers per second. So it's moving faster than a normal one that we typically see. But, it's small. It's still not going to hit us. But I do, they're just catching more stuff. And they're catching some of this stuff after it passes. And we've already talked about all that. But the thing is, they can't catch all of it anyway, guys. Our technology just isn't good enough yet. We don't have enough manpower to watch the whole sky. So that's kind of what's going on there. Billy Bob Thornton said it best in the movie Armageddon. What he say? He said, begging your pardon, Mr. President, it's a big-ass sky. Well, that's exactly what that means. It is. It's huge. So trying to actually sit here and be arrogant or have an ego big enough to say that we could see everything, that's unrealistic. Okay? We're going to do the best we can, obviously, but yeah. And if we had a big one that was going to hit us, do you actually think we would know? Probably not. Unless a backyard astronomer actually caught it and was like blowing the whistle, but who's going to believe all those people? We have a hard enough time getting people to believe what we're talking about. So yeah. Here's the magnetopause models. Okay, this is the wind speed. That's why it picked up. We've seen it with the geomagnetic activity raised. This is why. Okay, now if we go down here, I'm going to pause this. This is the density. And again, we are still getting something here is a little different. Alright, it's not perfectly symmetrical. Did you see that? It did it only on that one side, and it did it again. It's almost like it's directional, and I don't know why. But, you would think wind coming from the sun would kind of hit us, because it usually does. That's usually what the graphs show us. It gives us a very symmetrical signature, but this time it's different. I don't know why, but the pressure. We talked about this yesterday. You can see how the pressure is building closer to our planet. Remember yesterday it was about way out here, no pressure at all. And I even made the statement, hey, we don't really worry about it till it gets about there. It's just about there. So, yeah. We're not worried about it, but we don't really even pay attention to it unless it is. Here's the other magnetopause model. We'll take a look at that. You're going to see this bouncing around a little bit, but you can see how it stays in about 300 the kilometers per second up here. Okay? The density is hanging between like 5 and 10. I've seen some 12s and maybe a 4 or something in there. But right now it's reading 11.6. So that is on the high end of normal is what I'll say. Because that's pretty much what I noticed. This is ISWA, and I did not update this yet, so I'm going to have to do it real quick. I've seen something kind of strange though on this one too. I've never seen this happen. We've all seen this. You know, this eclipse is not what I'm talking about. The eclipse itself isn't what's strange. It's what I've seen on this one. You know, the eclipse is coming from where the Earth passes between the satellite and the sun. So it looks as though there's a rogue object or something eclipsing the sun when it's not supposed to. Well, I explained this before too. This satellite is in geosynchronistic orbit, SDO. It's out in front of the Earth, roughly about 1 million miles away, but it stays over one spot on the Earth. So if we pick, like, let's pick California. So if the satellite's on top of California, it stays on top of California as the Earth rotates. So when it gets to the dark side of the planet, it's always looking at the sun no matter what. So it rotates as it's orbiting the Earth over top of the same spot. So the the camera itself stays fixed on the sun. It slowly rotates. So given that, when it's back here, sometimes that line of sight gets broken by the Earth itself. Okay? So that's what's happening. And that's what you see. Okay? So we're going to take a look at this. And before I go too far, I'll take you to what I've said was kind of weird. Here's that eclipse. Okay? But check this out. You see that? Let me zoom in. I've seen something similar to this before, but this was strange. It's almost like the stupid thing went through it. And it's not, okay? But check it out. Let me okay, so we got the Earth coming. Well, let's do it the right way. It's coming in from the top down. So watch. Now, even there, okay, you can even see it kind of picking that up. And I don't know why it is. It might be just a reflection off the inside of the camera, which is most likely what it is. But as you can see, it looks like it goes right through the corona of the sun. Look at this. Okay? So I don't think that that's what's happening, because it would put the corona of the sun like right next to us. Well, not necessarily, but depending on how big that object was. That's the Earth. Okay? So it's going in between the satellite and the sun. Ain't that crazy? Oh, man. I was like, wow, I ain't never seen that before. But why I know it's no big deal is because when I seen that, I thought, well, maybe it's doing it over here on this other angstrom. And what we're going to find is it's not. Okay, you don't see any red there. You don't see it there. So it's just it's a camera anomaly from this one particular angstrom. Again, it's probably just reflecting off the inside of the camera. But anyway, to show you the CMEs, not CMEs, but the solar flares. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so look in here. For those that haven't seen it yet, I'll show you the first one. See that? Bam. It's a big one, guys. Okay. Well, it's at middle of the road, I guess. Middle to high, middle to the like mediocre range. You know, it didn't get into M class, but it is a high C class. So that one, and then the second one. The second one was bigger. See that? That's plasma leaving the sun. So there were CMEs behind these things. Okay? Some of it went back to the sun. A lot of it didn't. Now you're going to see another one. Here. See? So, it's just got really active over there. Now, the other one over here, the other sunspot, it's not doing much of anything. It is doing something. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is, but it's not doing the active stuff. Now, I'm seeing something here, but I don't think it's leaving the sun. So nothing's coming from that bigger sunspot. Now, listen, that thing is bigger. It looks to be more intense than the one on the one I just showed you, which is why we can't let our guard down, because none of us were talking about this one doing any kind of. Matter of fact, when I showed you the first one, I thought it was the other sunspot until I actually looked at it, and it came from this one. So I'll show you it on a purple here. Right in here, guys. We might have missed it the first. Nope, there's the first one. Second one right behind it, and boom. And so that's what you get, That's what it's going to look like. It's not, like I said, the CME part of it's not coming at us. And the flare didn't do much but caused a little bit of radio brownouts. So that's what we got. Let me pause this, okay? So, yeah. So here's seeds, and I'm going to show you here, because that's where it started. Bam, right? So there it is. Now again, it's still ejecting. Stuff's coming off the sun still, which is typical with solar flares. So let's go to the next day, which is today, like right now. And you're still seeing stuff leaving the sun. It's not big time stuff, but it still is. So that's not a quiet condition. So some of that stuff's still leaving. It's not coming at us, which is why it's not a big deal, really. But look over here. Now, what I want to point out is that a lot of times when we get solar flares, it will put charged particles. It does this to these cameras. When we get the big ones, especially if they're fired at the satellite, it will. It almost look like you went back in the old days with your TV and was looking at that white noise. That's what it looks like. But it's nothing more than that flare causing that issue. So here's the CME tracker, and this thing is still stuck on the other one. Okay, see, it's picking up the one that's over here. This one started on I think the 15th. Yep, on the 15th. That one may give us a glancing blow, but I'm not so sure even about that. Now here's the geoelectric field map. Check this out. Okay, this did get an uptick. So whatever caused our geomagnetic unrest, it's there. You're seeing it right there. It's not too strong at all, but it is something as of note because it's not staying completely quiet like it had been for a very long time. Earthquakes. Okay, let me get that off of there. Guys, I have to say it again. This is too quiet. Okay? There's not a whole more to say about that because stuff is building. I'm telling you. I don't want to say we're overdue or use that word because that insinuates we know exactly when we're supposed to have these earthquakes. And we simply don't. Okay? The better word to use is like, I guess, I really don't know, because if I say, hey, this isn't normal, well, what's normal? It's a strange thing, guys, but I think that we should be on the lookout for bigger ones here very shortly because we haven't seen one in a long time. Not to mention, see, check this out. You see all these? And this is what they don't want you to do. You see how I got it on 1 day magnitude 2.5? Notice how that's the first tab. Not all magnitudes, because you would think that's going to show some smaller ones in it, right? So you would think it would be above this tab. It's not. And they do that on purpose, like I said, because they know most people aren't going to come over here and mess with that. So if I hit that, look what happens. Everything shows up. So what's this do for us? Well, it shows us where they're swarming. It shows us, patterns of like if that pressure's traveling. Dutch has been doing some killer work over here, especially with this stuff. Okay, that's the North American craton. That's a big subject right now. We're catching hot spots. We're doing this. We're doing that, and it seems to be following the North American craton, which means that's basically it's magma moving underneath, and the stuff's like slipping. Looks like we had a couple more up here. Now, I'm not sure if Ricky's in the chat right now or not. Probably not, because she was on with us late last night. I can look, I guess. Was anybody else here last night that's here now? Hey, Hilly, how you doing? Hey, Teresa, how are you? Good to see you guys. Guys, we got to pray for everybody. You know that, right? But Teresa really needs some prayers, guys. Anybody can throw her some prayers, please do. She's pretty sick, guys. Okay? She trusted us enough to share with us that she's in hospice right now. So yeah. So any prayers you can give her, please do. So I was here, but why is the I pulled it down because it was all jacked up. That's why. No other reason. The part I showed with Mark Pyre's channel, it had an echo, a really bad echo. As it kept playing, it got really, really bad. And then Mark's power went out, and his stream got cut. So I came back on and was just, checking stuff out. And that's when I talked to you guys, and we did a few little things before I logged off. But yeah, so I don't want to leave a 3.5 hour live stream up if there's not much more than just echoes and stuff. Hey, Talika. So yeah, guys. We will check this out again. You got pretty good fires out here in Colorado. See them? We can go in a little bit closer. Okay, let's do this. Here they are. Now that's you see how they're blowing that smoke. Now, this isn't so out of the ordinary. Colorado does have wildfires, okay? But it looks like it might be in mountainous regions. I think it is. Because you can tell the cloud layer itself. Watch it kind of build right here. It's like, that's what it would do, is what I'm trying to say. The condensation would rise. It would get colder. Some of it would freeze. Cause some of these clouds, all that kind of thing. But not all of that is clouds, especially the two bigger ones. Okay, so that's just, they're fires. I mean, it's not something we should be like freaking out about right there, but Dutch was talking about all this stuff and how things are moving and all of that. Now, why I asked if Ricky was in here, because last night on that stream, we were talking about earthquakes and stuff, and while I was on stream, right before I logged off, we had a 4-something earthquake, and I didn't go look at it because I was logging off, but they told me it was in the Cascadia subduction zone out here. It was like a 4-something, and you come over here and look, and there's nothing there. That's a 2.4, and that's in California. This thing, I think they were telling me, it was off the coast of Washington. I'm pretty sure. But Yeah, it's not there. So I'm wondering what's going, unless I just misheard or didn't understand what they were saying. So that's why. Now when I talk to Ricky, I'll find out during my next live stream if she shows up, and figure that out, because that would make a, come on. I mean, if they're gonna hide an earthquake that was here, and it even put one of the buoys into tsunami mode. Event mode for tsunami. Back at you, Teresa. Back at you. So, yeah, guys. That's what's going on. And, if they're going to do that, it doesn't surprise me. It just, when all this stuff starts coming together, and you look around, and you do this, and you do that, you're trying to do the best that you can. I do want to show you guys something real quick, though, okay? Because this is getting asked a lot right now. And it dawned on me that, I've been doing my channel for a while now, a little over 2 years. And I oftentimes forget that people haven't been here since the beginning. Okay? And why does that matter? Well, because I've done videos and stuff to help explain things in the past. And, sometimes I just take for granted that people have watched them, and I can't, I shouldn't do that. So I kind of forget sometimes. So what I'm going to do is, this will help people understand what a solar flare is. See? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shut up for a minute. Okay? I'm going to play this. It's only like 1 minute and 34 seconds. So this will help you. If anybody doesn't know what a flare actually is, this will help, okay? I may pause it just to give a little bit of commentary. Not sure, but I might. Okay, before that moves over, I think the biggest thing to take from this right here is, says even the most powerful flares are barely detectable in the total solar irradiance. Okay, powerful flares are often, but not always, accompanied by a coronal mass ejection, CME. That's the biggest thing to take away from this, because they didn't used to have two different vocabulary words there. They split it once they figured out they were pretty much two separate things, because one can happen and the other one not. So that's why it's important to know that. I think that flare there, I think that was the one that was in 2017. It could have been the one in 2012. I can't remember. But both of those were big. We're talking, I used to think because this was in an X shape, it was an X flare. That's not true. This one ended up being an X flare, but that's the highest level of flare you can get. Like an X10. I'm not sure what they would do if something was bigger than that, what they would call it. But whenever you look at these, you see the little lines. It's always like that when it's a flare. It's just how the camera interprets this. Okay? Okay, so reading that, solar flares are often, occurrence when the sun is active in the years around solar maximum. We're nowhere near solar maximum. We got at least a couple years to get there. Now we are back on the road to solar maximum. We got as deep as we were going to get into a minimum already, but we're coming out of it. And this is the most dangerous time because our magnetic field is 20 to 25% weaker. So if the sun starts doing what it is today, and that stuff is getting fired at us, like big CMEs and stuff like that, it's going to hit us harder. Not only will, even the smaller ones will affect us more too. So what a 5 would do, 30 years ago, we wouldn't hardly notice it. I'm using that 5 number generically. But a 5 today would knock out some power or something. That's what I'm trying to say. Because the magnetic field is not as strong. Okay, so that says it all right there. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Because it will happen. There's no way around it. It will happen, guys. So keep that in mind when we're talking about stuff like this. Because it most certainly does matter. And, yeah. So hopefully that, that maybe that helped clear up some things for people that didn't know. What's up, E-Rock? But I did want to bring that into you guys and give you guys a little space weather update. I will be continuing my edited videos again on Monday. I'll start posting one about every day. It'll be 30 minutes or less, and I'll do some streams in between too. But there will be an edited video for those that don't want to stick around for live streams. I understand that. I really do, because that's what I was doing for a very long time. And people liked it, and but I do like connecting with everybody. I really do. So yeah, so that's what's going on. You're welcome, Joy. Hey, Skywatcher, what's up? Thanks, E-Rock. I really appreciate that. Right back at you. Oh yeah, I'm sure. You'll see the girl that's taking his wife. Yeah, yeah. Nobody's mad. Anima, Yellow Feather. You're welcome, Michelle. This is all. It really is. I really have. Since I started doing these live streams, I feel like people know who I am more. I feel like I understand what you guys are wanting to see a little bit more, and disconnecting, pretty much. And that's why I push you guys over to Mark's channel, because everything I just showed you guys, there's no way I can make that positive. I don't put a negative, overtone over top of it, but I can't make the information anything other than what it is. And so if I have a chance to give somebody a smile, or, make their day better just by simply pushing them over to a channel, not even pushing, just recommending it, and people coming back saying, hey, I love that, thank you for doing that. Guys, when I said I hadn't belly laughed in 2 years until I went over there about a month ago, I was being serious. That was the dead truth. No exaggeration whatsoever. And that's why I've been pushing so hard for people to go give that channel a chance, Mark Pyers. And I know I've been saying it a lot. I get that. I may have to, slow it down a little bit so people don't, you might get sick of me saying it. But I was trying to help him last night. We had this plan for about a week. I kind of had some fun with it and played like he was taking over my channel and all that kind of stuff, right? I even had a little static, like his TV that was losing its reception as I went over to his channel. I was just having some fun. So whenever I can give that to you guys, I know that that's a sure place you can go and at least get a smile and a laugh. So I really appreciate all that stuff. Yeah, Wendy, thank you. So yeah, guys. Yeah, I'm glad you like it over there, guys. Because I mean, it. When he says he was stuck in the corner for 2 years, he's serious. Hey, Woodwork, what's up? You know, he was there for 2 years, talking to two or three different people, doing the same show he's doing now. Yeah, I'm getting ready to Arizona. I'm going to go to bed. So, just know that, guys. So when I send you over to people like that, I seriously watch them myself. I'm not going to point you to a channel that I wouldn't go watch myself. So, anyway, guys, I am going to go ahead and end it. Thank you guys for stopping in. I know that everybody's busy, so I appreciate everybody's time. All my mods in there, thank you so much for helping me out. I couldn't do this without mods. Promise you that. You know, you guys have had to handle things for me when I can't look. So, you're right, Intuber. I really believe that. Thanks, guys, Israel. I really appreciate that. You're welcome, Annette, Arizona. Yeah, Teresa, you're not. Don't ever think that. My gosh, no way. You know? So, anyway, guys, God bless. Yahuwah saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.